Hi guys, just gone 5 o'clock here in London. Just going to do a wrap up of the day's events and trading opportunities that took place, and then we'll quickly run over the data calendar for tomorrow, in which progressively gets more exciting towards the end of the week, and non-farm payrolls. Starting off, well, before we talk about the main thing, which was sort of the resurgence of the dollar following the recent weakness we've seen, the DAX, you can see here around that sort of open into 930, pushing lower with quite a lot of force. We then found support pretty much to the tick here on Friday afternoon or Friday early mornings, low point, and then since then it's really been quite choppy, as the DAX has been quite recently, so I wouldn't be expecting that to change anytime soon. As mentioned, the dollar strengthened quite a bit, currently sitting just over 0.5% up, which is unusual to say that. Obviously this candle that we saw on Thursday evening was Trump talking up the dollar, while we did have an up day on Friday for the euro against the dollar. You can see today we started to drift back down, and it was when we really broke the low of the day around sort of 11:30 that continued to happen. And while not the biggest down day in the world, definitely a decent move in terms of where we found support now. Not a million miles away from what has been quite an important level from back on the 24th, just to be aware of for any of those guys still trading. A couple of opportunities. I know some of the people in the trading room took the break of the low, that sort of classic there, to take some off at the S1, and the S1 classic also worked very well. Similarly, you saw the pound, once it broke that low, you can see here 10:30 broke through, and the classic working again quite well on that, and we're just having a brief pullback now as a sort of volume starts to thin out. Aussie dollar nowhere near as big a move to the downside because of the dollar strength, but in this kind of range, as you can see on the low sort of volume, people perhaps waiting for further developments in the rest of the week. So for a break of that to the downside, if we were to see a bit more dollar strength into the close, or maybe tomorrow onwards, you can have a nice little breakout trade to perhaps to target Friday's lows off that. Dollar yen only just recently pushing through, similar look to that Aussie dollar. Obviously this chart is the other way around, but finally breaking above that high that we saw this morning, which was also Friday evening's highest point as well. So the dollar definitely strengthened today. Whether it's going to be the start of a major dollar pullback, I wouldn't be too sure, but our favourite currency manipulator, Trump, may have just started something last Thursday. So with the dollar strength, obviously we saw, let me just get up another chart here, so T-notes continue their real trend lower. You saw gold pushing down pretty one directional in that trend as well, and oil took a bit of a hit as well. So that stronger dollar weighing on commodities, on bonds, and also stocks as well. So all those markets coming under pressure as the dollar is sort of strengthening. Have we found a dip? Have the buyers come in? We talked about this level earlier in the day, using previous highs, the place where the buyers previously took over as an opportunity for people to get in. Pretty much got to that level around there, and you saw the Dow come down to what was the previous high, and the S1 offering good area support. For me, it's all about this pivot, and whether we can push above that. I would definitely be looking to have this trend line on from the top going down, big intraday level to be aware of, where we can sort of really find support here and push on for the rest of the week. But that would not surprise me at all. Nasdaq, you can see coming to a similar sort of area. I'm just going to draw this on, and you can see it just a bit more choppy, but similar times finding support on what was the previous all-time high. Ooh, let me just move that away, and the buyers then took over. It's never the easiest and cleanest trade sort of buying a dip. It's a scary one. Usually it will come back down to test it again, but again with the Dow and here for the Nasdaq, got to have that trend line on. Quite well respected so far. Can we push through into perhaps the close of the day and into tomorrow? Let's just have a quick look at these markets on a weekly basis. and you can see it's been quite some time since we've had a down week, not till the back end of December for the Nasdaq here. And this chart's so steep it will start going backwards soon by the looks of it. But yeah, big level for the Nasdaq with that trend. I'm going to leave this on without the pivot levels on. Yeah, you can just go over it again here with the Dow and the S&P as well, albeit that trend line is a bit steeper, so it's got a bit more to do here for the S&P, trying to break through here, which is obviously not too far away from where that pivot area is. In terms of, let's just have a quick look over that Aussie, not Aussie, the dollar index. You can see here really pushing on. This is the highest it's been since the back end of, the middle of last week, really. So it'd be interesting to see whether we can, find support in the currency pairs. But if not, the dollar index may push on. As you can see here, found really good support back end of sort of 2008, 2009. So from a technical point of view, it's a big level. Data calendar tomorrow, a couple half interesting releases. 10 a.m. You've got the GDP flash from Euro, and then a bit more CPI preliminary data from Germany at 1 o'clock as well. So a couple interesting data releases, some interesting speakers as well tomorrow to be aware of. I feel today was a tricky day if you wanted to trade the bias. That was the same from last week, but obviously you've always got to be quite reactive in that. And I actually had hardly traded today because, as mentioned, I'm only really interested in equities is what I'm going to talk about, in going long. And for me, that trade idea that I had early on was to be buying US equities as they push higher, and the level I marked up was here. So I'm only really interested if it gets to this point, targeting morning area of resistance, all-time high and beyond. I think it's a key lesson for some people today, just starting out live, is to have a bias, but you've got to be reactive and, as simple as it sounds, buy when the majority of the market is buying and sell when the majority of the market is selling. Easier said than done, of course. But it was a day where if the recent trends aren't working, don't try and beat the market. Quite an interesting week though ahead. Hope you've all had a good day. I've seen some good trades in Trading Live, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Or any questions, obviously, get them in the chat now. Thank you.